Hell Let Loose's new update is here. Update 12, Falling Dark, is live. The first thing we can see, of course, is the new camo here on this beautiful Panzer IV. Now, the Panzer IV was added in the last update. It actually replaced the medium tank, which was the Panther back then. However, the Panther tank is back in the game. It is now been reworked with new smart materials as a heavy tank alongside the Tiger. So we had two heavy tanks as the allies, now we have two heavy tanks as the Axis. This gameplay is gameplay from my first look at this new update. This is the Omaha Beach rework, and my god is it a lot of fun. In terms of map reworks, Omaha Beach has had warfare being added to it, and of course offensive as Germany. It doesn't add too much in terms of the look of the map, but of course it is adding those extra game modes. There is so much to get through here, and we're going to have a lot to look at, so buckle up because this update is incredibly exciting. There is completely new night maps. A lot of the maps have been translated into the dark, which makes it incredibly terrifying. For example, you've got Foy, Purple Heart Lane, Hurtgen Forest and Kursk. They're all put into the night maps, and the artillery sounds are just as terrifying as ever.
Oh my god, artillery, man. That's a horrendous sound.
Wow! Yes, as you can hear, artillery has been overhauled, so when you're on the ground, you don't know when it's coming. Before, there was a big loud whistle and it doesn't come in. Now it's much more instant. Something else that's been added is a kind of quality of life HUD thing, is being able to change the proximity chat volume, so you can change your unit, proximity, and leadership voice volumes all in different. You can see I turned down the leadership volume just so they were a bit quieter so I could hear my squad and people in proximity, which was a little bit more important at this point in time. These kind of HUD and quality of life changes are throughout. There's a lot of new achievements that have been added in as well, such as sniper on sniper action. You know you love it. And of course, you can see here some of the new stats that you can see. I got an officer kill. Yay.
I've got 5 officer kills.
Oh, Jesus.
Slaughtering officers.
These new stats add so much in terms of detail. So you can go, as we said there, into the look at how many officers you killed, how many captains you killed, all that kind of thing. These are the new MGs on the back of half-tracks. They're very cool. I didn't really see them much in action since half-tracks were mostly just put in stationary positions and used for people to spawn on. But this is something that I've been wanting to for a long time, because MGs on back of half-tracks means the next thing is probably MGs on the back of other tanks, such as the Shermans, and of course, maybe even light vehicles, but more notably medium and heavy tanks being able to pop out as the officer. This was the end of the game. We did actually lose this game, unfortunately. However, I got a few nice kills.
GG, sorry.
And then we're on to the new map. The new map, which is Remagen, and my god is this incredible. This also has a night mode to it. This is not just day, but the start of this was on offensive, by the way. We were attacking, and it was incredibly intense. I can't fucking hear what's going on. Everybody was shouting, everybody was screaming, everybody was charging up to the points. The first bit on offensive starts you fighting through the towns. It's very similar to other maps like parts of Hurtgen Forest and so on and so forth. But when it gets to the bridge, that's when it gets intense. Quick, kill him before he flares. No, he flared. Oh no.
I shot just after.
As you can see there, the flare gun has been added in. It basically just gives some good indications for artillery strikes and so on and so forth. Makes it a little bit easier for artillery and for the commander to bring in new things. Speaking of the commander to bring in new things, the commander now has a precision strike, which is just a bomb that drops from the sky. It has dive bombs that are unique to each faction. The Germans have the Stuka, the US have the P-47, and the Soviets have the IL-2 rocket strafe. A plane comes in, it's incredibly terrifying, but it's incredibly cool. The flare gun, as I've seen used a few times, doesn't seem like the most useful thing, but it looks goddamn cool, and you can see it lighting up the weapons as it goes on. I can imagine this being even more prevalent when we get to the night maps a little bit later. The commanders can actually do a little bit more. They can also do ammo drops, which is something that I've been waiting for quite a while. You see, getting into battles is good if you have a server of people that really want to work together, but when people are maybe on the more casual side and they don't necessarily maybe understand the game, or they just can't be bothered and they want to play to have fun, which is fine, but it isn't great when you're trying to put down garrisons and outposts and trying to refill your ammo. Now commanders can do this. They can put down ammo drops, they can put down supply drops as usual, so when you're out in the field you're able to put down garrisons and fill up your ammo from the commander ability. Now, in Remagen, we get to the bridge, and the bridge is probably the centerpiece of this, and my god, is it so much fun, especially when you're attacking it. These two towers were a hell of a challenge to get into, but we finally did, and we got up there, and we started to head across the bridge. Now, one thing that happened when we were on this bridge is a bombing run comes straight down the center.
Two shots in a row.
Oh my god, a bombing run right up the center of the bridge. That, oh my fucking god, that's killed like the whole
Jesus.
team. Oh my god. And this feels like an incredibly exploitable aspect of the game, because bombing runs are famously powerful, but they only go in one line, so you're able to dodge them by just getting out of that area, right? But the bridge is the only crossing here, and it is just one line. So when a bombing run came down, it killed like half our team. I guess that's just part of the map. It's interesting to see where they go with that, whether that's something that they want to change or keep it. I actually kind of like it, even though it is really exploitable and really powerful. If the enemy commander can do that at the right time, just as it's being overrun by the enemy, it's going to do a lot of damage. Getting up in these towers was good, but especially as a sniper team, it maybe wasn't as powerful as I would have hoped. You're able to see over to the other side, but it's so far away that it's really hard to get some good shots down there. Running down the bridge was a very, very hectic. As you can imagine, the enemy team just sprayed infinitely down it, taking damage from every single way. You're actually able to get under the bridge here in this sort of scaffolding area, which was a lot less defended. I think that's probably just because it's a new map and maybe the enemy didn't quite know that we'd be coming from this direction, but we were able to get pretty far under this direction as well. I know I've shown off the main things, but there are a few other things that this update 12 brings in. It brings them a couple of new cosmetics. One of them is a paid one, unfortunately, but the other one is a free cosmetic that you can just download as a DLC. In addition to this, we have improved animations for the strafing runs. We have added gore models for Soviet factions, the added ability to interrupt weapon reloads. There's also an adjusted MG deployment, increased AT gun deployment times just to make it a little bit more balanced, and tank crews are now notified when the gunner destroys an OP, which is incredibly helpful because originally that was something that you'd shoot and you'd possibly not quite see. You'd have to go and scout it out and then you'd end up dying. It's more realistic, but a bit of a pain. Audio effects have been completely overhauled, and you really do notice it, especially when the artillery is coming in. It is a terrifying sound to hear, especially because there's no lead up to it anymore. It's just a bang and then you're dead, or you see people suffering behind you. Speaking of suffering behind you, the gore has been completely overhauled. Gore sound effects have been overhauled as well, and along with all these kind of things, there's a new overhaul to muzzle flashes, artillery cannons, tank cannons, and Panzer Bazooka rockets. This update has been a lot. I know this video is probably feels like a lot of ranting, but there's so much to get through. Some of my favorite things are the skins to the new tanks. Of course, the addition of bringing back the Panther tank is really nice, being able to have two heavy tanks on the German side. The flare guns are pretty cool. The bombing runs on the new map in Remagen are completely terrifying. The artillery strikes are something in a PTSD-inducing nightmare. But Hell Let Loose is going in a fantastic direction. I couldn't be happier with what they're doing with this game, and since Team 17 fully acquired the title a few months back, it seems like it's paying off. All this extra influx of cash and support behind them is doing so much for the development. I'm looking forward to trying out the new night maps, and that will be the next video on this channel, so make sure you stick around if you haven't already. But until then, I will see you in the next one.